Hello everybody, it's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video, and today we're back in Planet Coaster with an exciting series. We are back to the recreation series, and this time it is going to be a huge project because today we are recreating Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. Yeah, I've been wanting to do this in Planet Coaster ever since the alpha released, but I knew I was gonna have to wait until the final release. Now, this recreation is going to, I want to do a fair warning here that this is gonna be very slow paced, and you'll see in the time lapse here that I do a lot of stopping and looking at reference photos and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stopping in the time lapses, and that's simply because of me looking at reference photos and stuff like that. And now obviously we're not going to be able to make this 100% accurate, but we're going to get as close as possible. And I'm not even 100% sure if I'm going to be able to fit the entire park in the space that we have, so that is interesting. So I've decided to go ahead and start at just the turnstile building, and that's the entrance building here. Now, the entrance to Silver Dollar City is a very simple structure here. It's literally just like a slanted roof with some beams under it, and it has this big sign that says you have a great past ahead of you. Now, unfortunately, I was one letter short, so it says you have a great past ahead of yo. So it's gonna stay like that for right now until we come up with a fix for that, but that's how that is going to go. Now, one thing, if you don't know Silver Dollar City, what's going to be the most difficult part about this park is that the terrain in this park is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the terrain is everywhere in this park. There's hills. The park is pretty much built on a giant hill, and that's going to be kind of a challenge. Now, I've been practicing with the terrain and pathways as much as I can. I think I got a pretty good system that works kind of well to make sure that the pathway will be able to work with the terrain a lot better. So, if you don't know about Silver Dollar City as well, there's also a cave tour that is in this park, and I am actually very interested to see if maybe I could possibly make Marvel Cave in this with the terrain tools that are available to us. I think it's actually very possible to make Marvel Cave. Now, another fair warning on this is going to be a project that's going to be spread out for the months to come. Now, this is not a park that I'm going to be finishing within a couple months. I'm probably going to be working on this park for, half a year to a year, or even up to multiple years. You never know. It's just going to be a tough thing to do because I don't end up getting too much done in this episode, and that's because I have a lot of reference photos that or YouTube videos, reference photos that I was looking up, and you'll see a lot of pausing moments where I'm actually looking at reference photos and stuff and trying to get it down. Now, I will be taking a lot of reference photos myself for any extra detailing in the park because I am actually able to visit this park whenever I want. In fact, I'm pretty much there every day, so I can get any reference photos I want by taking pictures myself, which is going to be a very huge advantage for me here. And I'm going to be making adjustments in this park throughout time. In other words, like if this entrance building was missing something or it needs to be changed in some sort of fashion, I want to make sure that I get that done. So if you see any inaccuracies in the episode and you know Silver Dollar City pretty well, just be aware that this isn't the final product. That I'm going to be adjusting everything in the park throughout time a lot. And if you're waiting for like the roller coasters, like for me to build Outlaw Run and stuff, that is going to be probably way down the road because that is like on the back end of the park. So if you're looking, it's probably going to be quite a bit of time before I get into stuff like that. There's a couple buildings I didn't actually get to in this stretch of this episode because I couldn't actually find some good reference photos. So I'm actually going to probably take those myself here pretty soon. That way I have some good pictures of those and figure out how that's all going to work out. As for the pathing system, it's also very difficult sometimes to get exactly what I want, because it has some wide sections in the spot that actually curve, and I wanted to make sure that that works. So I had to put it's a difficult process. And this building I'm working on actually right here is actually the Stroller booth / rentals and lost and found building. So this is where guests rent strollers and also ECVs, which is like the electric scooters for people that can't walk on those hills and stuff like that. They can actually rent these in the buildings here. And this is also where Lost and Found is. So that's what this building is. So I put 2 information booths because there's actually 2 windows there in real life and stuff like that. So the building right here has like wooden planks, so I thought this actually fitted quite nicely. And there was some kind of minor details. There's some signs around, which I don't exactly know what I'm going to use for those just as of yet, so I'd left it blank for right now and stuff like that. So again, there's you're not going to be able to get 100% accurate, but I want to try and get as close as possible. That is my goal in this series. The good thing about Silver City is most of their buildings are fairly simple, and I don't think they're going to be a huge issue to build. Now, the only thing is we're going to be building some of these on the terrain, so that is going to be kind of a difficult part. But what I'm most looking forward to, honestly, is creating Marvel Cave. Like, I can't stress enough of how cool that's going to be if I'm able to do that. I think that'll be a really cool thing to build, because I'll probably just build like a pathway down there and use natural pathways, and that way guests can just walk down there themselves. The entrance to the cave is actually in the hospitality house towards the entrance, which I get towards the actually get building in the hospitality house just a little bit in this episode. And yeah, so there's also like this little awning roof just above there. It doesn't look exactly like this one, but it was the closest one that was there. And there's also a sign that says rentals and lost and found here. Again, I couldn't fit it all on the sign, so for right now this is probably most likely more of a placeholder than anything. And like I said, all I could fit in is rentals and lost. It actually says rentals and lost and found. I wish you could actually adjust the font size of the signs. That would actually be very helpful. So if Planet Coaster, if you're watching, see if you can make that an option. That would be a cool option in a future update, to be able to change the font size and maybe have more font options as well. So over here there's also another building right next to the rentals building that is actually the exit of the park. It's actually I think it's called the Ozark Marketplace or something like that. It's actually where guests exit at the end of the day, at least most of the time they exit through here, where there's like tons of shops on the inside. I don't know if I'm going to build the full building myself exactly, because that's kind of undecided if I'm going to do that. I'm going to first make sure I have room for everything else, and if so, I might put a little bit in that exit building there for the park. I'll just put some like extra entrances where the turnstiles, because there's turnstiles at the end of that building as well. Now, I skipped out on the entrance area simply because I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it in. I want to try and make sure I get the main part of the park in first, and if I do have a little bit of room, there might be a little bit of space to make a little bit of the entrance area there, but for the most part, I just started for where the turnstiles are and the front gate is for Silver City, which is a very simple entrance actually, and a very small entrance as well. So I didn't get a good shot of this building right here, so I didn't go too much in detail for the Ozark Marketplace entrance here slash I guess it's the exit to the park. But so I just kind of made a basic layout, and I'll probably come back to it once I get a better reference photo for it. So a lot of these are just kind of like the basic layout of buildings at the moment, because there's actually a bakery on the left side here which I need to add as well, which we might be getting into the next episode. I'll probably try and get that bakery in. And there's also another like ticket kind of building where you can buy tickets, I believe, for like the Showboat Branson Bell and stuff like that. but we'll get into that. The pathways would, I decided to add an extra entrance here, or another entryway there, so the pathway was kind of lagging or messing up there, so I had to redo it, and it was just kind of a nightmare a little bit. So I made a little bit of pathway going into there, and yeah, I thought it was actually looking pretty decent, and not too bad for what it is. So the next part here, I believe I get into, or I was looking at trying to find reference photos here. That's what I was trying to do, and it took some time trying to find some reference photos. So the next part is I pretty much wanted to make the turn right. Now I made the entrance to the side here because there is a turn this curve that goes up a hill to the right that will lead to the main part of the park. So I wanted to make sure that I had to make sure that the park's going to fit in the proper spot. So that way I have those, because you can't just pick up your park and move it. So you got to plan these things out early. Now I know for the fact there's always a trash can right there, so I put one right there. It's pretty bad that I even know where a lot of the trash cans are in this park, which is kind of insane. That's how well I pretty much know this park and how much I've been to this park. I even know the back ways of the park, where that's employees only. So that will even help out with more accuracies right there. I think that's going to be a cool element, and be able to create the areas of the park that most people don't even know exist, which is going to be a huge advantage in my recreation here. And again, this is going to be a long project. So I prefer you guys not to ramble in the comments saying, "You're such a slow builder, why are you taking so long to build this?" Because recreations, I want to try and make as accurate as possible. There's going to be people that are going to really be judging you on recreations. So I want to try and get it as close as I can, because I'm using Google Earth as well to try and help me with the path layout. I think that will help a lot. And that's kind of how I figured out how much this pathway turns here, because of Google. So I was kind of zoomed out there to try and figure out okay, am I gonna have room for this and this, because I was wildfire's on the edge over there, it's gonna be very close if it's gonna fit, and because we're gonna have the square right up here, and the square for itself is relatively pretty flat, and I'm probably not gonna get the terrain 100% perfect. I know that. So once we get to Hill Street, we're actually going to be pretty deep down under, I think, and terrain wise. So I almost had the idea of starting higher up, but we're going to see how this plays out. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to have to reconstruct everything. Now there is a large bit of terrain right here, and that's actually because the cave is actually right there, where I'm actually doing the terrain right now. So I did a little bit of terrain. I think it's actually a little bit lower than that. There's a huge dip down in the terrain right there, which is actually, I think, where the cave is. So that's actually a piece of the cave that's under that part. So again, I really want to build Marvel Cave and make Marvel Cave. That would be so awesome. I don't know how much space it's going to take up, or I'm probably not going to be super accurate with Marvel Cave because it does go pretty deep underground. So I'm not sure how far we can go. I don't know exactly if there's a limit on Planet Coaster of how far we can go with our terrain, but I'm going to try and do my best to build Marvel Cave. It probably won't be the most accurate in the world, but again, it will still be a very cool feature to have. Now here, I tried to build the entrance of the hospitality house, which is kind of a difficult thing here because I was looking for they kind of have a brick texture on the outside here, which I couldn't really find very well, and then they have this wooden design alongside the slanted roof, which I'm still unsure how I'm going to do that. Again, it's all trial and error. I'm going to try to find the best. If I find something better that would match the building better than in real life, I will make the changes. So anyways, I love to hear your guys' feedback as well if you know a specific detail that would work well in each building and stuff like that, because there's a lot of buildings in Silver Dollar City and stuff like that, it's going to be very difficult to get right. Now, there's also a sign here that says Hospitality House. So I used this sign. It's kind of like a westerny type sign. So I decided to go with a westerny type sign. And of course, I couldn't fit the entire word in there as well. So it's always like a letter short too, which always bugs me a lot. So anyways, yeah, so I don't get too much further into this. I pretty much get the Hospitality House entrance spot right here, you know, where the entrance is for that. And there's also 2 trash cans on the outside of that as well. That's also a detail that I'm pretty familiar with. But anyways, I end up finding a better texture for this spot right here. I'm using the other wall just kind of a guide, mostly because it has like this, and this is still very inaccurate because it's not like a smooth kind of brick wall. It's more like a unpredictable. So it's there's not gonna be any parts in Planet Coaster that's actually gonna be able to use this or use it to make it look 100% accurate. But I'm gonna be doing the best I can to make this as, you know, accurate as I can. So the Hospitality House is kind of a difficult structure here that's quite unique and different in a way. But that's about all I get done here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and there's going to be way more to come. This is going to be a very long project, so I hope you guys stick with me, and that's about all I got for you guys today. So make sure you have a great day and even cooler tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.